Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our community meeting. We'll go ahead and get this started here shortly. So I guess we'll start off. If any of you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to kind of get addressed here at the beginning, and kind of we'll go from there. So not sure yet if you.
This dude just said, "What server is this?"
Hello, Spicy.
Oh my god!
Is there anything you would like to add?
Fuck is on so hot!
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end that one.
Dude, Spicy is such a fucking troll.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
No.
I agree. This is an excellent start.
Let Spicy talk.
Okay, does anybody have any ideas or suggestions that could make the server better you guys would like to see implemented by the developers? If so, raise your hand.
Spicy put his hand back up.
What's going on, guys?
Hello.
First off, I want to say thank you for the meeting. Love the updates and everything you guys are doing as a whole to keep the community intact. One thing that I do want to request, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it in the forums a lot, is we're getting a lot of new players that are coming in. Now we all know how toxic Asylum can be. So I think a good addition is adding some type of green zone for newer players, so that way they don't get killed on site being in these illegal areas, and as well as hunted down by cops. Um, but yeah, that's one of my suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well just make Sophia the fucking green zone. No one's gonna be there anyway to shoot at you.
How's it going?
Hello.
Alright, so I was just asking about, I guess some content stuff. Like, I've been gone for a while, some of the admins know me. I was curious if there's any plans for content additions, and one of the things I had an idea of, and I actually scripted a long time ago, was a different take on the drug selling thing. Where the players would kind of, instead of just going to a static spot that is the NCP to sell one drug, there's different places they can stand and slowly offload their drugs. So kind of like a sell over time idea.
So, as in like a drug dealer would rotate, or there would be specific drug dealers for.
So there would be different corners in different towns throughout the map, and the player would basically stand in a specific corner, which would be waypointed however you want, and the value of each drug would be different kind of in each town. So like heroin might sell for more in Kavala than it will at another place. And with that, there was a like the idea would be a chance that the cops be notified, just maybe a local or there's just a small chance police be notified somebody selling drugs on a corner, which I think fits really well into the RP side of things.
Okay. I mean, that's definitely something we can visit. It would definitely have to be fleshed out in a way that doesn't kind of, I mean, so would you still be able to sell every drug in every location?
You could sell every drug in every location,
But it would just
but
be like one would just be worth more in a specific one.
right, it might be more valuable to sell, and that would rotate. And like I said, I'd have to dig it out. These were like really old scripts that I wrote for a server I was doing a really long time ago, but a lot has changed since then and how everything's coded.
Okay. And so would kind of those sell better? Would it always be static, as in meth always sells better in Kavala, or would you recommend that that kind of rotates?
That would rotate as well.
And how would, like, every hour, every day, every week? How would you?
I think that would float on. Now, personally, I don't know how to code that particular part, but I would say it would be based on how much was uploaded in a particular location. So if somebody's been selling a lot of heroin in Kavala for the last 2 days, maybe it would reduce in
Kavala.
that value, and nobody knows specifically where. You would just get a feel for it as you play. My only concept for this, one of the big problems that I've had in these games where the frustration comes is people typically just kind of camper out around or near the drug dealers and they scope it out. So where if there's these different corners throughout the map and you never know exactly where everybody is or where they will be selling, it kind of changes things a little bit.
Okay.
And I think, I mean, that's the suggestion side, but I was curious about, the question was, are there any content additions or changes to the gameplay coming in the near future? It's been a really long time and everything's kind of mostly the same as it's been for years, and I think that comes with creativity and interest.
Absolutely. I mean, I can say that our devs are definitely working on new things. I mean, one of them, if they would like to address that, that might be a little better coming from one of them, as they kind of know what they're working on. But and then as for some of these other ideas, like your rotating fields thing, I definitely think that's a decent idea. It might be something it's worth putting on the forums as post a development suggestion, as not all of our developers are currently in this meeting. That way we can make sure everyone's seeing it and hearing it, especially for the people that can't make it to the meeting.
That makes sense. I can do that.
Like I said, if it's helpful, I can pull up some of the old scripts. But I know the way everything is
Kratos says,
done
"Can
now.
we add a
Like,
donate button
talking
that
when
goes to
Arma 3 was
development
really
instead
new,
of going to
so
Rogue's dumbass?"
a lot of the way Altus Life has been scripted has changed dramatically.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So you would like to suggest while you're in here? All right. All right. Well, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to suggest? Hello, Mr. Bush Tiger.
Hello.
So what's
My
going on?
name is Rare African Bush Tiger. I am here to discuss the disturbing amount of benches, or I should say the lack of benches in Athera. I think it's unacceptable. Kavala has, a lovely tent with a bunch of chairs, but Athera's got like one bench.
Next big content update: benches.
I'm livid.
So you would like more chairs?
I would like more seating in Athera, yeah. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Hi guys, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here today, and secondly, I want to thank the whole admin team for banning the dirty, juicy record.
I'm not entirely sure what he said, but all right, Z, the stage is yours, buddy. What do you got?
All right. I know this was kind of talked about a few months ago. I think you guys actually did it, but wiping the server. Have you guys thought about that, or maybe coming back to that with new ownership?
Currently, I don't think that's something that's been really discussed recently. And like I said, as far as I know, there's currently no real talks into doing that. But
Yeah, I mean, I can talk on that a little bit. When it came out initially, when we played it, the server is fun. It's fun for everyone. How long would it be fun for? 2 weeks maybe? And then let's say the people like Leroy who grind their life away on the server, all of his progress is gone, but those are the guys that play. You'd have some gangs come back because they're having fun, but then they're probably just gonna leave eventually because it's like Bad Blood or a gang like that, right? They come back, they think everyone's cheating, so then they leave the server anyway. So you have the people that are like the Leroy Jenkins who grind and now we took away all their stuff, or the people like Bad Blood who they come back for 2 days, decide everyone's cheating, and then they leave. So then you know, that's the issue there. So it's like, how do you and what do we change in that time? So
yeah, the
I
other
just
biggest issue with a wipe is you have to definitely balance the economy as it is. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of money right now, and wiping it for the first few days would make a difference and get people active. But I mean, with kind of how money is made currently, the people that just spam fed events like during the wipe little event we did, the gang that just did all the mental asylums and all that, pretty much towered over everybody by the end of the weekend and had millions upon millions. So you would really need to, balance the economy and figure that out first before a wipe, or else it's really not going to change anything, and we're going to be back in the same boat we're in right now, a month down the line.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just wondering what you guys thought about it. I wasn't around during that time, so I didn't really get a whole lot of information about it, but just something I was curious about.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you got for us, ZD?
Nope.
All right.
Let's get Billy.
So, boy.
How's it
What's going
going?
on, Bailey?
So, just saying that happened just a question off the back of what was just answered. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
it's
Everyone will
more
be
aimed at
rich.
Rogue. You say that wiping the server would bring back people temporarily and maybe lose people that have been here for a while. Is there any kind of statistics, any kind of any information on when all the people got unbanned, all the hackers got unbanned? How many of those people ended up getting rebanned, and how many people we actually lost because they were sick of going against the hackers again in domination and going in cartels and stuff? And can we get an assurance that saying that's not going to happen again?
that we're gonna unban cheaters.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna give you the assurance that we aren't, or we will or will not. I don't foresee unbanning. We kind of stopped. We did it in tiers basically, where let's say we did 50 people and unban them, right? The percentage that got rebanned, I don't know. We could look into that. And how many players they drove away, that's not a statistic you can pull from anywhere. So
Yeah, for sure. I was just curious how many actually ended
yeah,
up getting
I
rebanned
do
again.
not intend, if somebody has a actual scripting ban, the thing that and I've always questioned this from when I was support all the way through now, it's like, say we get a scripting ban that's from King of the Hill, where some random admin over there, which anyone, they could just, hey, you want to be an admin? Okay, boom. You watch, they see someone shoot someone 700 meters away, one bullet. They're like, oh, scripting. And then they put it through, and then eventually they're perm banned on every server, right? It's like that guy where there's no evidence and it's from King of the Hill. I'm not going to say we're not going to unban that guy, because I would like to, and if they come here and they really mess up, sure, then we nail them. But it's the guys that are global ban, that kind of stuff, coming back, get a second chance. No, I do not intend.
That's good to hear. I was under the impression that anyone that got banned, because I know all the servers, they tie their bans together, there was proof behind it. Was that not the case?
It depends on the ban. In some places will or will not share. It depends. So
I got you. All right.
and that's kind of hidden behind the cloak of the admin team. Going forward, I'd really like that to be a decision. It's like, hey, this guy was banned, King of the Hill. We can't find anything. There's nothing. He's not actually global banned. That's the kind of stuff I want to look at. But actual cheaters, global ban, no. Now, the guys that did get unbanned, that were, say they have a global banned account, we allowed them to come back, and they're doing fine if they're not, doing anything sketchy. Obviously, you gotta have
Basically,
people
sugar.
watching. Eventually people will mess up.
Gotta add
so.
20 years to that age that you said, but yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Spicy's had his hand up the whole time.
All right, Spicy. If I move you back in here, you're gonna have something actually useful to say. Speed super loud. Okay.
All right, appreciate you for the support, guys. So I got two questions. One, why the fuck am I ticket banned?
I'm not sure.
All right. Second question, like this is for real. Can y'all add a cotton?
All right, that one's done.
Oh my god, dude. I think Spicy was just kicked from the server.
All right. Does anyone else in here have something else or anything they'd like to add? Any other questions? Any other suggestions or anything else that they'd like to see in the community? Hello, Maximo.
Yes, add lollipops to the AFD. Thanks.
Oh, I like it. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hello, Killy.
All right. So my suggestion is reduce the house cap to like 2 to 3, because I think some of the people might own like too many houses, like valuable houses, and maybe reduce the cap to 2. It would be better.
I will agree that the amount of houses on the server can be a problem at times. I don't know if they were currently
Yes.
planning on reducing the amount, but we might maybe looking into potentially finding a way to stop players from just logging in for 20 seconds to save their houses forever. People that don't really play the community anymore. So that's definitely something we can look into.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
could
I'm
speak
bringing it
on
up,
that as
Nikki.
well. I know there was a post made on the forums recently about that. I'm not sure how we would go about reducing. If we did say the people that own 5 houses, they're just grandfathered in. They can keep the 5 houses or 4 if they have them. But if they sell one, they can't. They can't buy another. They'll have to go down to 2 basically. If say we went to 3. But yeah, that's like Akula was saying, it's the time played that I'd really like to look into, because you just have somebody, they log in, once a week, sync, log out, right? And they're wrapping up 5 houses.
Exactly.
Some amount of playtime. I want to get that looked into a little bit. That's on my list of stuff to really push for. Is that 5 hours a month, 10, 20, what is it? Maybe it's per house. I don't know. Stuff like that. I don't do any coding, so that would be something like Mitch or Obi or Wits, Tato. They could answer something along those lines. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions or suggestions, Killy?
No.
Okay. Hello, Mr. JR.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, what do you got for us?
So, obviously, most of the stuff in the APD side I'll keep away here, but obviously with the transition between new owner, new senior admins, things like that. What I'm kind of wondering on a grand scheme of things is, are we looking to kind of just see things as business as usual, just general Asylum, or is there anything that you guys are looking at on the kind of top end that maybe is going to shake some things up that you guys are willing to discuss and share?
Just silence.
I mean, I guess I don't know what you mean by shake things up, like change the game that we play here as Asylum Gaming, or
A little bit. Like I know, potentially, maybe some updates to further increase kind of civ versus civ life between cartels, gang fighting, stuff like that. If we're looking for, I know there was talks or things, as escalation of equipment that's available on the server, just kind of general, I guess, changes that might be popping up in the near future.
I mean, I do have a list of some stuff. It's not like crazy out there like what you're thinking changes. I mean, just recently last night I was really poking around with Asa. There's just the server smoothness didn't seem, and I'm learning too. As a senior admin, you're not really involved as much as an owner, right? So I'm like able to log in and have keys to everything. So I'm just like poking around, asking Asa questions. I noticed like the server FPS is X amount. Well, we increased that, almost 33% last night by changing one little value. Now the servers are performing a little bit better FPS wise. Will that hold stable? I don't know, but that's just something. I don't know. I asked Killy about it earlier. He noticed it, I guess. I guess you guys saw like Quillins. I think bringing them back. People use Ifrits like mad. What's wrong with Quillin doors? I think they're a cool vehicle. Can really make them look better. I don't know. Make fights better. It's not quite an Ifrit, that kind of stuff. Uh, there's some other stuff, I guess, that is on my list that I'm not really willing to talk about at this time, but I just intend to have more communication. Obviously, a little bit of stuff to work through. So
Then what the fuck was the point of the meeting?
No, you're perfectly fine. Like I said, I just wanted to see if everything
Yeah.
was kind of just business as usual, or expect a little bit of shakeup is all.
I mean, there will be change, right? With anything, it's like, do you rip the band-aid off? Do we just go down to the three houses, new ownership, whatever? I don't intend to do anything like that. And if it were coming up like, hey, we're gonna go down to three houses or four, two, whatever it is, we would put out an announcement, allow people to kind of like, divvy him down. Let's say your buddy only has one house and you want to give him one of your houses, that kind of thing. Now, people use multiple accounts. We're working on that side of the house too. So, but yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, my only intention with this was to get Asylum to Arma 4. So, whatever is necessary to make that possible. I have been looking into like the server side of things, like the actual physical server box, to see if there's any performance changes we can do there. There's not really. It's just, it is what it is there. Arma is a weird game to host, so I don't foresee any massive changes. I would, I want to drive content and stuff like that, but obviously the devs have their stuff they have to work on too. It's volunteer basis. So
Fair enough, and I appreciate it.
yep.
All right, you got anything else for us, JR?
No, I think that's all.
All right. All right. Doesn't look like we have anyone else really lined up right now. Does anyone else want to speak about something or make a suggestion? I guess we'll start at the. All right, Savage, how's it going?
Pretty good. Quick question. Do you guys plan on adding any more heists or events by chance?
Are you talking like server-sided events, like admins run it, or big federal events, like the bank, the Fed, that kind of thing?
Big federal events.
I mean, I'm open to whatever. It's just that's the kind of thing coming in with an idea, and I get adding a federal event. I'm all for it. We need the idea laid out, you just bullet pointed, just fully fleshed out, right? And then we push that to the devs. That's the kind of thing we can make happen when somebody comes in and says, add a new Fed event, and then, period right there. It's like, all right, sweet, I get that we want to do that, but let's get it's the ideas that are lacking in a way, and if they're not fully fleshed out, the devs are working on developing stuff. They're not people that want to come up with the ideas, right? You put a sheet of paper in front of them that's like, A, B, C, they can code that, right? So if they spend all their time trying to come up with stuff and not developing, that's where we have issues. So
And another issue with just throwing in new Fed events is every time a new Fed event is added, everyone jumps on it, right? You get a decent bump in server pop for a week. Everyone comes back to go try out the new event and try new things. They do it for a week. They pound it out one after another, and then they kind of realize that okay, well that event's fun, but Bank is easier or Mental Asylum pays better or something like that, and they kind of just go back to doing the events they were already doing. Like I mean, kind of like Joy Store for example. It's really not done a whole lot currently. Whereas it was done a whole lot in the first week. So.
Hmm. And what about as an idea to throw it out there, to kind of increase the gang v gang violence within Asylum? Um, I think a good idea would be to have some type of drug shipment that a gang can start, and that'll notify all the other gangs within the server. Um, and I mean, it could be transporting from A to B, um, but I think that might be a nice little addition. Maybe get like a full Hemet truck full of processed coke or something, and have it transported all the way to Kavala, but that'll notify all the other gangs that this specific gang is doing it.
So it's the shipping robbery essentially, but more
Yeah.
civ-sided.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Question on top of that: Would cops be notified then, or would it just be gang v gang?
I think it would be a gang v gang, at least in my opinion. Because cops get notified for every other event that happens, a federal event. So I feel like this should be something that should be specifically cited for the gangs to fight other gangs
Yeah, but
for.
processed diamonds aren't even worth
And
that
I think
much.
it creates more of a I don't want to say a
Armor 4 is probably going to
hostile
be out in like
environment,
5
but
years.
more of a interactive environment
What's up,
between
Ash?
all the other gangs.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thank you. How you doing?
First time I've ever been in one of these, but I can give you an idea for a Fed. Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Cop sided. Kind of like in transporting evidence to evidence lockup. Cops get like a prompt whether they want to do it or not if there's enough cops on. Cops get honor for it, and the civs would honestly steal vehicles and whatever's inside of them, be able to bring it to CHOP or just steal it. They can start it from whatever HQ they
Ski?
want, but the
Yeah,
further
he's in
away,
here.
the more pay.
Right there.
Okay.
I don't know if you're trying to like slim it down for the community meeting, but if you want to, make sure to post a suggestion on the forums. That way we can look over it in detail, see what else you have, and then we can have a look at it.
Okay.
When you say cop-sided, do you mean
got
like as
wrongly
in the cops are more
forced
likely to win,
fucking
or do you just
retired.
mean cops starting the event?
A cop start the event and they like get the home front advantage. Like they can get ready, get prepared for it, and started on like whether they want to do it or not. Like they're
So
not forced to do
a
it.
cop defensive mission is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. Like a
Okay.
defense and transport mission. Pays out honor and money depending on whatever the admins think is justifiable. I think the honor is more of a drive for some of the higher ups in the APD.
What do you mean you can't hear me? What is going on with my... I'm not talking right now in this. I'm only talking on the stream.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No. Thank you.
All right. Let's see, Vasluya.
Alright, is it better now? Alright, I'm gonna unplug it and plug it back in.
Hello.
Yo.
All right, so I kind of wanted to add to that. I kind of thought about this about a month ago about the cop convoy event.
Is it better?
You could go to a town like, let's say, Kavala. You would get a prompt to do it. It could be started by maybe like a Sergeant Plus. Started by like Sergeant Plus, and then you know, it would pay more to do the shipment from Kavala. But instead of evidence going directly into the evidence lockup, the evidence would go into maybe Kavala HQ, and then you would be able to go transport that into the evidence lockup. So transporting something from Kavala to you know, evidence lockup would pay a lot of money,
Maybe my
whereas
microphone was
transporting
acting
something
up then.
to Sophia HQ to evidence lockup doesn't pay as much. It was just a suggestion that I had. I know people were saying something about it, and I thought it was a good idea.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Just like any ideas you guys have, please make a post in the suggestions on the forums. Anything else to add?
Yeah, something else I wanted to bring up. Around, I would say maybe 2 a.m. Eastern to about 7 a.m. Eastern. Are we able to make it so we can get rid of the cop to civ ratio? Or is that something that is constantly in the server?
That is gonna have to be a developer question. I'm not sure about that. If Mitch or Obi wants to speak on that, or Potato.
I mean, it's in the server for a reason, right? We don't want to see civs get steamrolled.
Alright, they're not picking me on
steamrolled.
purpose, so.
When we didn't have ratio, it just led to a lot of bad things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I'm not sure. Kind of tired. I worked a 16-hour day today, so I'm kind of not thinking time zones. But you know, when you get a 1-to-1 civ to cop ratio, it's just not fun for anyone.
Correct. Yeah.
That being said, we can obviously look into new ratios and, you know, fine tuning it somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, even reducing it would be nice. I just know it's a little annoying to not have more than 5 cops on when like 3 of them might be a cadet. That happened the other night. Well, that's all.
All right. Let's see.
Yo, my bad about that, by the way. My first time doing that. Hey, but some really quick stuff, right? So I love the green zone. And in the second one, what I feel like we need to add more legal type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because a hella ton of illegal stuff to make money. But like for the new people, if they come in and then they're like, oh shit, I'm getting arrested every 5 seconds because I'm in a legal zone. I'm thinking about doing like legal zones, not like, you know, like Apple, shit like that. And then for Fed robberies, since there's so many of them, I feel like there should be an extended time limit. Like, say there's a bank robbery, right? Make the bank robbery like, I don't know, like a 15, 20-minute break. I know that sounds crazy, but that way that other Fed robberies can have more of a priority. So instead of everyone just focusing on bank, I mean, to me, an easy fix would be having a higher like robbery time for each federal event. So say like someone robs bank and then they're like, oh, wait like 15 minutes and rob it again. Instead of doing that, then they could just hit jewelry or like something else like shipping or something, so everyone can do that. And then like for some of the ideas for like legal type stuff, I would implement trading. I know there's like a market, but I haven't seen anything for trading. And I know a couple other servers have like trading on the phone where like either make it like a talent point or just have it like on the phone so people can like actually trade stuff over cities. So there's like more of a marketing type technique instead of just selling it to like say, uh, like a drug dealer or something. Instead of doing that, you could sell it to each other, and then you'll have like an implementation of gangs selling to other gangs. I mean, sure, I guess you could do it in an RP sense, but instead of doing that, you could just like ship it, say like virtually, add something like that. That brings something new. And then apart from legal zones, that's up to you guys. I mean, I could just bring in stuff like I don't know, because the only like legal stuff we got, honestly, is like whenever the governor says, "Hey, make weed legal." It's like, oh well, shit. Now they can go to weed. But like every other zone is like illegal. Like all the places in Kavala, what are you gonna do? Like farm apples and peaches and stuff. Instead of doing that, add some more stuff in the cities and towns that you could do. Like maybe like crypto mining, make that legal, or uh, have people to be able to set up businesses. I know this might be a little too late now because that would have like a lot of people, but have it to like where people can actually set up businesses and sell stuff, like say like a fast food restaurant or something like that. People can like apply for and make it like a job center, like something like you could have like 5 in, like have someone work for Red Burger, and then they'll make like a little bit more money than just like a 5 minute little salary, and then they can clock into the job, sit here and do like some stuff on like a virtual screen in the middle of their game, like making sandwiches or something. You know what I'm saying? That might be like a lot of development to do, but that would bring like a lot of new stuff into the server.
Great, it's like this guy's talking about making a whole new fucking server.
That's all I got.
Yep.
I mean, I got some other stuff, but I'm not trying to take up all the time.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, just like I said, suggestions on the forums. Anything that you think would be nice to add, please make one. We'll take a look at it, and developers will go through them over time. So.
Okay. All right, thank you, Vezloya. All right, who would like to speak next?
Dude, Polar, we're not gonna be able to understand this guy at all. He is like hardcore French. We need fucking
Hello again.
How's it going again? So following up, I heard the guy talking about the housing issue. I really wanted to
We need
chime in
Pierre
on an
in here to
idea with that
translate.
would be to scale the tax on the house, and the more houses you have, where it gets dramatically more expensive.
Okay.
So this way, like if you really want to own for maybe 5 houses or whatever the cap is on the server, you're gonna have to play to
Always
be
been a
able to
big
afford
dream
to
of
do
mine.
that. You couldn't just be logging in to save your houses. Just kind of make it really expensive if you want that. You need to have purpose for that, so you don't people just locking down houses.
Are you talking about like a rent system where you get billed like a month,
Yeah.
certain time frame, or?
Yeah, so I can say that we already did try that once. It really did not go that great. I don't know if it was just the amount, and we'd have to revisit the amount, but overall, it was just it had very bad feedback throughout the community. So.
Yeah, I don't want to name
No,
any
they do
other. I
these
don't want to
fucking
name the other
meetings,
place, but I just played elsewhere, and they have
and then they tell you to just
that
go post
system
it
where
on the
once a
forum.
week you kind of have to pay, and it's not that bad. But I think if it's, the house cap is an issue and it scales up too much, then make the money scale, and then there's no reason to hold a house and keep houses that you don't need.
That's what I fucking said earlier. I said, what is
The
the
other
point?
follow-up I wanted to touch base on was what they were talking about
Because
with new
Rogue was
players.
like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of
I know when I
ideas,
first
but
started
I'm not going to
playing,
go
like
into them right now. Then why
RDM
did you make this
is just
fucking
something
meeting?
that happens,
Why?
and it's unfortunate. One of the issues you have is, if I remember a lot of my time playing here, is once I was geared up, man, I just avoid going into any towns because it's 50-50 whether you're going to get popped when you're looking at a vendor. So if you have select towns where there are no, say, illegal activities within town, and just make those green zones where you literally can't damage other players in those zones.
I have Anzus ready.
I
Everything's
think that would be a
downloaded
huge
and good to go.
improvement to the new player experience.
Okay.
I think that's really all I had for the rest of this, but I like the housing thing, and I do agree that some of the more important houses just get hoarded by people who buy them just to hopefully resell them at an inflated value or just hold them down for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I
What do you
do
mean,
agree.
ASAP?
Like, I mean, there's an issue with houses, and we might get together here and try to figure out the best way to solve that. And I mean, we can definitely talk about potentially introducing a tax system again. But like I said, last time we did that, it did not go over. All right. So, let's see here. Russell.
That's it.
How's it going,
Hello.
Russell?
What's happening, people? Long time listener, first time caller. How is everyone?
How's it going, buddy?
Right, so I was thinking, like along the lines of what we used to have as laser tag back in the day, where two people could set up a laser tag match. Something similar towards the events, because a lot of people used to enjoy the events, and it was a bit of a bummer waiting for an admin to get on. Whereas if like the civilian population can arrange it, whereas it's a 30, 15v15 or something smaller, but they can do it off their own back. And
So
a channel in Discord to announce it as well.
Gotcha. I mean, currently there's I don't know if you've seen the duel arena. It's kind of like the laser tag, right? There's a little place you can fight. You fight with I think MXs. And it's just 1v1s.
How
Other
are
than
you
that, I don't
banned from
know how well that
Anzus?
would
Just
scale into a
thinking, like
bigger
some
scale.
along the admin events that they normally do themselves, like the Ifrid events and stuff like that. I know it's a lot of work to set up a script to get it going and stuff, but just a button they can push and queue for it, and then obviously they can have a big all-out fucking rally war.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I mean, it would definitely have to be developmental work to make sure that people don't just do it just to spawn efforts and take them all the cartel or whatever. So,
Hello there.
But Civ spawned admin events could definitely be something we look into.
But they used to have the script, didn't they? When you used to take a vehicle outside of a certain area, it would despawn for the SWAT, let's
Yeah,
say,
that's
for
true.
the banks and stuff. So the script is there to despawn the vehicles when they get a certain radius out. It's just something I thought. I've not been back for long enough to have an opinion, let's say, on certain things, but yeah.
No, absolutely. I
two
definitely
Ps
don't
though.
think that's an awful idea. Different ways, especially maybe in off hours for people to kind of get involved and do interesting little events and demo
The
derbies or
admins
stuff like
aren't
that.
always
So,
around, are they, to sort things out and get things on the go.
so absolutely, yeah, I think that's a decent idea. So,
That's all I had to say. Well, thank you for listening.
all right, you have a good rest.
Cheerio.
All right, who else? Who else would like to speak today?
Please get Cadet Polar.
What about adding more money dumps?
So, do you have an example? Or?
Not exactly. I was
Oh
thinking
shit,
something
Ski Man
like
Cole wants to
the
talk.
Blackfish or the I don't know how to pronounce it, but that Cyan.
I don't know, Ski Man. Like, they wouldn't let me. They went
Something like
around
that,
me.
something that we can
It
spend
was like this
a
guy and this guy
shitload
had
of
his
money
hands up,
on
and then they just like.
crash it 10 minutes later.
I had my hand up since like the beginning of the fucking thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we can. I mean, that's definitely something we could look into. Finding different ways to spend money. I don't know specifically about the Blackfish happening, but
And then they keep bringing back the
I
same
do agree
people.
about better ways for, especially the long-time players that have hundreds of millions to spend their money. It's definitely something that might be helpful. So. Hello, Billy, once again.
Once again, sorry, just real quick to touch on that one. If you want more money dump, make RPGs and explosives fucking cheaper. RPGs are easy to fucking miss, and when everything they hit, they blow up something. Big more. fucking reduce it to what it was. That's
Okay.
It's literally all right. Now it's between Ski. Oh, okay, Russell just raised his hand again, and then automatically gets invited back.
Russell again. What's up, buddy?
Ooh, player bought airdrops for gun caches and shit like that. A player can frivolously spend the money and get a 1 in chance
Polar's freaking
drop
out
of
right
something
now,
special.
hitting the hand button so it
And increase
blinks.
the damage of the RPGs and what they used to be. So people would
This
spend
is
a lot more
bullshit,
money
man.
on fucking frivolous blowing up shit for just the hell of it. If you want to get people spending the money and the economy going, you need to get people like Leroy Jenkins spending their
I don't think
millions.
they're gonna pick him at all. They'll just be like, "Oh, the meeting's over."
So like just airdrops that players can buy, and then like that. Let's just say
A bunch of people
150k,
complained that
and
he
it's
was abusing
150k,
his admin
and there's a
powers,
1 in 4 chance that you can get
and they didn't look
something
into it
good.
at all, and then Force retired him.
What was the old thing that Ethan had loads in his shed and got done with? What were them? Them big guns. I don't know. Something good.
They're skipping everyone on purpose that they don't want to hear.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
all I thought.
All right.
Polar, I
Sounds
think,
good.
would be hilarious, but
Hello there,
Hello?
Polar. What's going on, buddy?
Hello. First of all, I just want to say thank you
oh,
guys
this
so
isn't the
much
same.
for
This isn't the
hosting this
cadet I was
great
thinking of.
community meeting. You know, very well needed, especially after new ownership. Rogue, thank you so much, first of all, for taking over our great community. And I have great plans that, or I'm sorry, great thoughts that you do amazing things for the server. For all those who don't know me, I am Polar, aka Region Lock, aka APD Union Co-Chief, aka recent Dawn winner, aka Gang 4 Vanquisher, ex-Scripter, ex-Doxer, and ex-Exploiter. So, my first concern, or not really concern, but kind of what the devs think about this. How about making the market more dynamic? Kind of, because I see a lot, especially during EU times, where Dark Horse will go to Purification, and they'll just sell a shit ton of, cocaine bricks, Heisenberg, all that. And you guys have any plans on making the market more dynamic to where, the more they sell, obviously, the price will go down?
Not that I've heard currently. I'm not sure if you know, either Rogue or Obi or Mitch might want to speak on that one a little bit more. I
There's
know.
no current
I know we
plans,
used
but
to, but like,
I don't think anyone's like we're still open to the idea, but there's never been a solid foundation written down. Like, do we go full EVE Online and every single thing that a player gets is handcrafted? Like, how much is too much, right?
of course. Okay, and one more thing. Going back to the cop civ ratio thing, bouncing off what ZD said, I think it would be really appreciative if you guys, I don't know, kind of reduced it. Either, I don't know what the ratio is now. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know what you said earlier, Potato. I don't know whether it's like every 3 civs. Maybe if you brought it down to 1. I mean, sorry, down to 2, and see how the server goes. Because especially during EU times, I think the server's at a point where we need all the players you can get. And
I
I
know
don't
Region
think
Lock
there'll
is
ever be
run.
an issue like you said to where there'll be an overpopulation of cops. I don't think that'll ever be a problem. Honestly,
There is.
you think
I don't
so?
think that's possible, Shicker.
And how in what way? Like,
We've ran this experiment before. You get enough cops online, they're just instantly pulling warrants. They're just sitting in every drug field. It's not fun when it gets down to a shitty ratio for the civs.
Are you allowed to say what the ratio is now?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't looked at it for a long time. It was set, I don't know, whenever the last patch note for it was said. I don't know what it is currently though, but it can
Now,
definitely be
there's
looked
no
at.
girls
Tweaked,
in
but
Arma. That's
outright
why they
removing
probably
it
can't add
is
them.
just not a good idea.
Okay, no problem. Was just curious about that because I don't know when's the last time you've been on the server, so that's why I don't know if. But it's all good.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. I mean, even earlier today, I was speaking with the captains, and we kind of addressed the ratio a little bit. Currently, there's no real plans to change it, at least a whole lot. Like, kind of Potato said, right? We don't want, an entire gang of, 40 cops dropping on the 2 new guys in off roads at, drug fields and just kind of fucking over new players. So,
Yeah,
we
I
don't
could
want a
see why he would.
50-50
No, he
split of
can
cops
leave.
and
It's right
civs on the
there.
server.
Absolutely, I agree. Oh, that's fair. All right, my final suggestion here. Sorry, I'm keeping you guys, but I don't know if any of you admins or the devs have seen Fitz's new prestige suggestion. Maybe a little rework of the APD talents. I know Fitz could probably get more into depth of that. I liked his idea, but I was just trying to bring it up to see if you guys had any. I mean, excuse me, Civ prestige. I apologize. And a little rework of
Well,
some
we're
of the
about to
Civ
try out
talents.
Anzus as soon as this meeting's over. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Did he post those on the forums? Do you know?
I'm not too sure, but I don't know if he's in the meeting. I'm sure he can elaborate much more on it. I'm pretty sure it did get accepted on the forums, though.
Okay. I'm sure if it did get accepted, I'm sure the devs might already be planning on that or working on that. So can't speak too much on what they're doing, but if it was accepted, then odds are there's something in the works. So, um, all right. And then anything else you got for us today?
No, absolutely not. Thank you guys again. I hope you all have a great night.
All right. You have a good one, Puller.
Operator Johnny, automatically.
How's it going,
pull-
Johnny?
Hey, good. So I just missed a little bit of the conversation when Polar said something about the active markets or the fluctuating markets. I know that had been in Asylum in the past, and Potato, I just wanted you to like kind of clarify on what the issue is there because I think that's something that might be able, if we could, make it work, I think it might be something that could be good to help the economy going forward.
I don't think there's an issue. Like, no one's sitting here saying we can't have it. It's just how exactly people want to, how do we want to implement it, right?
Right.
Because if people are trying to fight and if we're full EVE online, every gun is crafted by a player, and if a player doesn't craft a gun, you can't have it. Well, now people are trying to fight and they just can't buy an MK. Or what happens if it's the other way, right? Let's say Leroy Jenkins crafts 1,000,000
Combat lugs
MKs,
on
puts them on the
medic.
market, and they're $1.
Right, right.
So I think it's just one of those things where it really has to be fleshed out, and I don't really know how to take a perfect stab at it,
Yeah, I think, and I can't remember what the old fluctuating market was. I mean, it was so long ago. But I know it was mostly drugs.
Basically, the way the old market system worked, I don't know if it was like I think it was per restart, but basically
Yeah,
the
it was,
first person to log on would get the max amount of money, and then everyone after that would just get a reduced amount.
Right.
So it just incentivized
Now, was
immediately
that
logging
for
in after restart.
MKs? Was that for guns as well, or was that just
It was
for
for selling
drugs
items
and?
and buying items.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I think it was just for virtual items like drugs.
Oh, was it?
Okay, yeah,
I thought
that's
there was a
not sure if
demand
it was
for
multiple.
guns.
There
That's
may
what I
have
was.
been at one point. I'm not.
And I think if we could work something out where it is just for virtual items like drugs, I think that would be good. Maybe I know the last one was the last system was pretty unforgiving, but maybe if that's a conversation that we can have with the community, maybe make a couple forum posts about it and get everybody's feedback on it. That might be something that would be good to implement.
Yeah, like I said, just it needs to be like pretty well fleshed out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the, I don't know if how big of an issue this was, but definitely something I used to do as a civ back during those days is, you can see the market on your phone, right? So
right.
You could just wait and see, okay, wait, shit, meth's going down. Someone's selling meth right now. Let's go. Someone's
Yeah,
running.
yeah. No, I definitely remember that happening.
Yeah, and
Yep.
that wasn't an issue with the old system. Was people would open their phones, look at the prices, and go, "Oh, it's not worth it to run anything." Log off.
Right. Yep. Thank you. I just wanted a little clarification, and maybe we can make something happen with that.
Yep, absolutely.
I have a question for the APD. When are we bringing Junk back? Junk? No? No one like? Oh, okay. He's dead. He's dead. I'll let him know.
How's it going, Brad?
Oh, hello. I have one suggestion, really.
Okay.
It's ban cheaters.
I can assure you, we would like to ban every cheater possible.
I think there's some spectating that needs doing on domination. Because there's definitely no one spectating it. There's no way.
So I can definitely say that we do have people spectating. Maybe not enough. I mean, it's very hard to watch every single person online on Dom, right? You would need quite a few people to be able to do that. And unfortunately, like personally for myself, Dom is running during times where I'm at work, so I can pretty much never make it there. I know Panda likes to watch, and he's on just about every Dom, paying attention to stuff like that. So it is happening, but maybe just not to the extent that it needs to be.
Yeah, and I can speak on that a little bit as well. I agree. You know, we could have more, but at what cost? You know, do we have 20 players in there, 20 admins? Like you can't play unless you're being spectated. It is also very hard nowadays. Like if you watch someone, it has to be kind of blatantly obvious, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh, this Brad's guy got a weird feeling. I think I'm just gonna ban him, right? It has to be evidence
Just a
beyond a
dumbass,
reasonable
Sugar.
doubt
Just ignore
when
him.
we ban you, right? Otherwise, it's just you got admins out here just banning people like, yeah, he's gone. We'll ban him just because we want to. That's the kind of thing we want to avoid. So having admins in there spectating, it is hard to catch people. Obviously, if they fuck up and they shoot someone through something that they shouldn't, or they're actually tracing someone through something they should not, those are the people that are gone immediately. We see the evidence, they're done and gone, right? A lot of people know that admins are spectating, so they're really cautious, and it's really controlled those that are cheating. So it's hard, obviously. And if somebody's not watching the moment they mess up, which, you know, say, you know, how many admins exactly do we have? If they're all in there watching, it's still not enough to
Bro,
watch
they
every
picked
single
around
player,
me when I had
every
my
single
hand up.
minute of
It
every
was like a
single
person here and a
domination.
person
So,
here, and they did this
and all the
person, this
volunteer work
person,
done
and
by
then
the
this person
admins
again.
is volunteer work. They're just in
The
there
names
spending
have
their
changed,
time, you know, in
obviously,
their
but
could we get more and make emphasis of it? Sure. And maybe in the future we will try to just really, hey, domination's up, admins jump in there, watch who you can. So
I mean, yeah, the thing with cheating bans is like Rogue said, right? I mean, especially with the population we currently have on the server, you know, we want to be 110% sure on every person we are permanently removing from the server, you know, giving a scripting
see,
ban
even
to or
Ski
anything
put
like
his
that.
hand
We want to
down.
make sure
No,
100%
they're
that
not going
they
to
are
talk to us.
guilty of what we suspect. And, you know, just one kind of sketchy kill really isn't enough to do that. You know, that's just to be fair to the players to make sure that, you know, people aren't getting wrongfully removed or anything like that. So
Yeah, all good. I just think there's more spectating.
all right. Is there anything else you got for us?
No, that's it.
Okay. What's going, Zerf?
Hey, I'm on picking up on what Brad said. Shut up. Picking up on what Brad said. He's not talking about you guys physically banning. Like, obviously, if you guys catch a cheater, yeah. When someone shoots someone through a mountain, that's as blatant as can be, and you guys don't even need an admin to catch that. Someone's report that. What he's talking about, and this is what Rogue just said, they know when people are spectating. So you guys obviously y'all have Panda. Panda's really probably the only staff that knows what cheats look like in a sense, meaning obviously besides nuking the server, anyone can pick up on that. But doing sketchy things, pre-firing and shooting people through smokes that they obviously shouldn't see, yeah. But what he's pretty much saying is if you guys have admins on the server, they're not going to spin as hard. Like you guys, if you guys didn't know, Asylum right now, the Dom server is a server where people can go and spin as hard as they want because they know no one's spectating. And if you guys say, well, we can't have that, I mean, they kind of volunteer their time. Yeah, we get that, but you also have a bunch of guys that are trying to get moderator that can contribute to that, but you're not giving them a chance. Which luckily y'all did pick up Johnny. Johnny's not bad. Johnny, I'm sure could pick up on some obvious stuff like that. And yeah, y'all can't ban off first evidence, but just having an admin presence on the server is going to change things completely with people hard spinning. So he's not
Donald
asking
just
you
said,
guys
is
to
this
go
guy
in and just
global
off the
banned?
top of your head if you think he's banning, just asking for an admin presence on the server.
And I can already say, I mean, today during Dom, there were at least 3 admins on. So, like I said, you know, we try to keep people on if people are available. And some people like Panda, they like to do that. They're always on. And they try to always be on to watch. You know, so
Was Panda on today?
I believe you were on today, Panda.
Yes, I banned somebody today.
Oh, that's good stuff, dude. But kind of though where I was going with it is like with y'all's mod choices. I mean, y'all picked up, y'all have a couple of guys support that definitely could identify cheats, and then like I said, Johnny, great moderator. Like I think more people are just some of the mods y'all pick up are like career medics and freaking kids that sit in towns all day and really don't know. It's like y'all are picking from the wrong freaking pile of people. And I get it, it's going to be a dense trying to find cartel fighters that can be moderators, but at the same time, they're out there. But I mean, 4 admins, Panda is the only one that probably can look at something and be like, okay, this guy's sketchy. We probably need to look into this more. And Johnny, I'm sure Johnny was playing, so. But I was just picking up on what I don't think Forrester was saying or Brad's was saying. You guys need to start banning people. I mean, I guess he kind of said that at first, but he's more just like an admin presence would help a lot on server 2.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree.
Oh, and Johnny can't spectate anyway, so. But yeah, that's it. That's all.
All right. Thank you, sir. How's it going, Cam?
What's up, everyone? I just wanted to, I got in a little late. I don't know if you guys already talked about this, but last community meeting I was at, the topic was all about the wipe, and I'm curious, Rogue, as the new owner, what's your stance on it? Because I know Mitch talked about it a lot. He probably talked to you about it. Like, is that something that we're going to look back into, or is that the past? What do you think, Rogue?
No, Sugar, since we don't have active admins, you have to put in a report.
We kind of touched on this earlier.
You have to record 5 minutes of
It's hit or miss. I
everything
think
happening up to that
I
moment.
think wiping would have the potential to kill the server. We have all the people that grind, for everything. Like like I said, the Leroy Jenkins of the server, right? So they're on the server every day. They're grinding, and then we have the people that come in, hit or miss, come back sometimes, right? Let's say an old gang comes back. Players are a lot better now than they were then. So all of a sudden,
And Ronald,
they come
really,
back. They're fighting these new gangs, and they're like, oh, all these guys are cheating. They're all cheaters. So they leave. The guys that play hit or miss, right? And then all the Leroy Jenkins of the server, right? We just took away all of the stuff they've grinded for years for. So it's like, did they leave? Do they stay? So we lose all the people that come back, and then we lose, let's say, 50% of the Leroy Jenkins. Where does that put us? Also, if we wipe right now, right, there's nothing in place that's going to change anything, right? So we'd have to rework the economy. It's tons of coding. A lot of variables would have to change. The devs would have to, work at quite a bit, 2 months, 3 months. So at that time, then do we wipe? I don't know. I don't have a definite answer, but I would say 95% chance we do not wipe.
Yeah, I got you. I just know that, Mitch was big on this, and, I didn't really see him leaving. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. So I know that was kind of his thing, like back in September. So yeah, I just figured I'd ask about it and see what your stance was as the new owner.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Also,
appreciate it. I know he was kind of going down that route, and it was just to test the idea and see. So
gotcha. All right. And just one other thing, I just like to give my input while I can. I definitely think that like a green zone for like newer players is a good idea. I've run into a couple of them. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They're running around a theater. They keep getting roof banged, so they're pretty lost. So definitely, I like the tutorial you guys put on the phone. Whoever did that, good job. What would the green zone be? I don't know. I feel like the devs can come up with a good idea. It's kind of what they do,
So
right?
can I
well,
state that's the issue?
so
You
the
guys don't have
devs,
an idea?
the definition of a developer, right? They're going to develop whatever the idea is into the server, right? The community, if you come up with an idea and you flesh it out completely, everything thought through, you get with a team of guys, run through every scenario, and then you just put the piece of paper right in front of Potato, right? Then he can develop that, but he's not an idea maker, right? He will develop it, but he will not come up with ideas, right? That's what we need to separate, is we can't be like leaning on all the developers to come up with all of the community content and then develop it as well, right? I think that's kind of where Potato is going to go with this. So
Funny you say
let's
that,
say,
DX, because we're gonna try a new one tonight.
average day, let's say
after this.
1,000 people touch Asylum, right? That's a lot more ideas than the 3 hours that Potato is around trying to think of an idea. So you combine all that, flesh out, put actual ideas in. Now, am I saying every fleshed out idea is going to be introduced? No, that's not going to happen.
So what do you guys? I don't know if you guys had like were developers or like staff back when the donor
Yeah, Baz.
town became a thing, and that was a while ago. But what if we followed the blueprints for that? A town where like a smaller Arma 3 on the map, a small town, make it a green zone, put some stuff in there to do that people can, make up to a certain amount of money, a little bit more than like peaches and shit like that, but not as much as running like illegal drugs. Like what are your thoughts on adding a new
Nikki
town?
brought up.
Like I was thinking about Sophia, like make Sophia, but like
They
it's
worked
already
when the
a
governor
major
changed weed,
spot.
and then
It's a
she got
spawn.
robbed by the cops.
We can't really do that. Do you guys like have any maybe ideas on where on the map that might be and what we could put in there? I mean, if this is something that has to come later on in a development suggestion, I can think about it more, but like I'm just curious, are you guys open to the idea of having a green zone, having a
I would say we're open to any well thought out, fleshed out idea, right? As I said previously, not everything's going to be
Rogue even
introduced, but if
said
something
earlier that he
is
would
brought
continue
forward,
to
it's a good
unban
idea.
cheaters.
The whole community is like, hey, let's get behind this. We want it, right? I'm more open to doing that. Now, if it's going to absolutely destroy the economy, change, I mean, there's a lot more than just adding a town. Then all of a sudden there's more influx of people there. So this drug that was X price due to other drugs being X price, it just changes the whole map. So it has to be, there's a lot that has to be thought out, I guess, differently than just like, oh, let's throw a town in there and that's good to go,
Gotcha. All right. I think you guys answered all my questions and talked about everything I had. So I appreciate you guys doing this. Have a good night.
Yeah, we go. All right, welcome back, Bushtack.
Yeah, with the new players, I think at the very least you should up the starting amount. I mean, because I assume it's still 10,000. They hop on, they buy a gun, they buy a hatchback, they get killed by a big group, and then they have nothing and they don't know what to do.
When you link your Discord to my Asylum,
Yeah, I'm
you
aware,
get a
but
massive influx of money. So
I'm aware, but I'm assuming most of them never stick around long enough to find out about that.
So I mean, there's a chance we could add like the first time you connect to the server, potentially you get a like little pop-up message that informs you of that. I'm sure that's something that could potentially be put out, but
Yeah, I mean, I figured at the very
Guys, there's
least,
still plenty of ways
that
to have fun
the Green
on a
Town
hardcore
might be a
RP
good
server.
idea in theory, but probably hard to do right. And I feel like the money thing could just be very beneficial to the new guys, and not be too hard to accomplish.
okay. And we're not opposed to just upping a starting amount either. I just we'd have
How
to
much do you want to
discuss
give
the
them?
I don't know, 50. At least they got 5 chances to buy a gun and a hatchback instead of 1. I mean, that's one of the most simple.
Can you do polls in Discord?
I'm not
Any way to do
sure.
Maybe they get a coupon for a free gun or car.
Every time a new player joins, we take
That's-
40K from Leroy's bank and put it in there. So I love that idea.
Hello?
At least the server
I accidentally got
Inzers
dragged
isn't
in
like
here. Am I
super
allowed to talk,
hardcore where
or
you
do
gotta
you
make
want
a new
someone else to go?
character if you like fucking die or something.
Yeah, you
By
got
all
no.
means,
servers like
if
that, and
you
that
have
was
something,
tough.
go for it.
Oh yeah. So this is not to be a shot before we get right into this, but I think a major problem right now is, how can I say this? Potato, when's the last time you've actually like been on the server? Because I know technically you're viewed as one of the lead devs, I guess.
No.
No? Okay.
Absolutely not.
When was the last? Because you're answering all these dev questions, and you're kind of. I want to say shooting them down, but you're kind of going against them. When's the like last time you've actually been on the server?
Probably a month ago at this point.
A month ago?
I mean, on the alt, yeah, probably a month.
And do you like stay like in track with all this stuff? Because I feel like
Honestly, compared to some of the other guys, no. But I mean, I think honestly the issue is there's not a lot of other guys throwing in their opinion, and I was tired of listening to this meeting, just you guys talking and no one answering questions. So I'm trying to give you my perspective on it, and I think it's pretty well agreed upon amongst the dev team. But I mean, the others are welcome to chime in and call me an idiot.
So
Well-
far, I've not disagreed with anything Potato said. I do agree with.
well, I think that's a problem right there, right? Is if you're gonna defer, I appreciate that you guys it's all volunteer work. Obviously, we know that. Obviously, you guys are not getting paid, blah blah. But I think that's a big issue right there, you know. And whether the devs don't agree with you, not the devs don't really play, bro.
Well, I
Like,
mean, what should we do? Remove them? Like, I don't.
No, absolutely not. But I would appreciate it maybe if you guys actually spent time to get to know the server. Like, cause I understand BB Greg's not here anymore, so you can't just log on a cop with him 24/7. But I think it starts with at least you showing your face around, kind of whether it's only cop or playing both civ. I think that's a good change. Because honestly, man, I have not seen your presence around here other than like I think Wits. Have you what did you do in the most recent patch?
Me?
Yeah, did you work on anything in
Nothing.
that patch?
Absolutely nothing in the last patch.
Now, is it because you just don't have a drive to freaking play Arma anymore? Or what's going on here? Like, this is not me trying to call you out. Like, this is actual
No, I mean
concern.
it's a fair answer, or a fair question. I honestly I have a new job. At times I'm busy. Like that's just how it is. I've worked, I think 50 hours in 4 days. Like I don't have a ton of time. So that's why when we're talking about like needing developer suggestions, we need well fleshed out ideas so I can sit down and do them for you guys. Because I don't have time to sit and research and do all this. I want to sit down, make the thing for you guys, and move on. Right? This is like I'm spending my time helping you guys.
But you can't spend at least like 2 hours a week. Because if you haven't been on in a month, bro, and you're just going around saying blah blah blah, this that, like why are you still holding the rank then?
I
And why
think
you
this
still?
is I think this is going a little off track.
I mean,
I'm
I'm happy to
as for the
resign if that's
developer
what you
rank,
want me to do. Like
right?
I'm
I
fine.
mean, it is a volunteer position, right? I mean, Potato's not getting paid to do any of this, and he's not holding a position. It's not like we can only have 3 developers and that he's holding a spot from someone that's more qualified. It's a matter of he knows a little bit of what he's doing, and if he has time, he can contribute that to the server. And if there was somebody else that had more time, like Wits, then awesome. And if there was, we could always add more people on, but he's not holding a spot that he doesn't have to. And I mean, you're asking him to play more. Would you rather spend the couple hours he might have a week developing something, or do you want him to play?
I'd rather have him play, man. I'd honestly rather have him play. At least show his face around. Because I appreciate you answering most of the questions, like you said. A lot of people haven't been answering. But I don't think it's fair to people like me. Let's say because I have no life, right? Most people know this. It's not fair for people like us who give these ideas because we play. I don't know about 6 hours a day, right? That's a bit too much. I know. I have no life, but like we come up with these good ideas, and for someone who doesn't really play, they don't really, I feel like, understand. And sure, you have the statistics and all that, but I don't really don't understand how someone can make that decision just off statistics and not like actually logging on and kind of seeing how people play.
So I can safely say, I mean, it's not just Potato going off the development suggestions on the forums or anything like that. Potato might be the one addressing them here, but I can safely say that, I mean, everything's kind of getting notated down here. What Potato is saying is not disagreed with by the devs that are active. So, he might not be playing a shit ton right now, but he doesn't speak for everybody. That's why the development suggestions exist. It's not just one person deciding if something's going to happen or not. But at the end of the day, he is here. He has developed for us. He has put some time into the server, right? So, and like I said, he's not holding a spot. And if you can find more developers or people that are interested and actually know what they're doing, but then by all means, we're willing to add them. But I don't think just kind of attacking Potato is really necessary at this point. So
I wouldn't say attacking. Like I just said, I would just appreciate it, because I just know we just got rid of one of the most active admins on the server, so that does stink. And it kind of sucks that he got removed. But I think that just starts with that, right? Just kind of everyone showing their presence, playing under their actual names, whether it's kind of hosting more events or just going to Thera, getting a bunch of new people or Kavala, going to do events, kind of teach them what's going on. Because most of the time, let's be honest, like everyone, either a lot of admins log on, they'll just all chill together, fly in like jets and shit, just fuck around. But that's all I got to say on that part.
I don't disagree with that last part at all. I do believe that having active admins and having an admin presence in game is 100% beneficial to the community as a whole. So
Yeah, sounds good. That's pretty much it for me.
all right, keep. Hello, Junkie.
Hey, man. So everybody's bringing up the new player stuff, so I just wanted to give my little opinion on it and see where you guys stand. Well, I'm just looking at battle metrics, comparing it to Olympus, and we're about half the unique first-time players compared to Olympus. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are in terms of, is it stuff that's in game that's causing us to have less new players, or is it more of a out of game, maybe we need to advertise the server a bit more?
I
I'm
don't
not
think
active enough to
Because
comment on this.
I don't
I
think
mean,
that advertising more would be a terrible thing. I'm not entirely sure, honestly, where you would advertise or how you would advertise.
I don't know, maybe Twitch,
As for
TikTok, YouTube.
Olympus, right? I mean, Arma's an old game, right? It's about 10 years old now.
yeah,
So there's not a ton of new people, but there are new people, right? We do get new people on the server. If you're brand new to Arma, I mean, Olympus for a good while there was putting more time and more effort into development, right? So they had some more changes going through. Um, and that's kind of how that went. And therefore, they had a few more players to start and new players joining Arma, right? You're just looking for a like
yeah,
server.
no, I'm
You see
not
the server with
saying,
most people and you join it. So that's kind of how that goes. It's unfortunate. And yeah, by all means,
yeah, and I'm not like trying to bash, but I'm just trying to get my point across. Like, we're talking about all this green zone stuff, but Asylum was on top there for a while, and it was doing just fine. So I don't think it's the in-game features or anything that's really causing the issues here. I'm just a little confused on whether it's out of game stuff and not more in-game stuff, or maybe there's stuff that's being implemented on Olympus that they're doing in-game or out of game. Now I'm not saying we should copy that server, but I'm just saying like, um, I don't know, maybe look at the stuff they might be doing a little bit and then put an our twist on it.
yeah, gotcha. All right, yeah, it's definitely something we can look into. Personally, I don't want to say I've played Olympus one time. I played it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and
So
I get that.
I personally I have no idea what they're doing or what they do differently than us. I'm not sure if anyone else in the staff team has more Olympus experience. There's a chance they do. Um, and as for what benefits new players that they are doing better, I'm not too sure. So definitely look into it.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joey. Hello, King.
Hey, what's going on? Me and some of the guys wanted to know if there's been any feedback on potentially bringing back Strife. I know Strife brought in a lot of players. Even some of the King of the Hill players played a bunch of Strife, and that seemed to be pretty good for the server.
Yeah, so I can speak on this a little bit. I don't know if necessarily Strife itself will come back. This is just kind of a recent thing for me looking into, as the owner, obviously I got to keep the lights on, right? People donate. I want to put it straight to the server. Something, previous question about the whole Olympus versus us, I think it's developers. As long as we have
Yeah,
enough
the
to keep
new
the
people
lights
get
on,
buffed.
I would like to put the rest towards developers,
And
at
then
some point.
the other side is the people that come
It
from
gets
Olympus
weird.
that are
It's all,
banned.
a whole tax thing, whatever, where the server would be liable for those taxes. So that is the part that's kind of weird. I got to get figured out the legal side of it. But Strife, yeah. So server 2, right? We have 2 servers. We pay for them both. How many hours is domination up on server 2 per month for the cost per server 1, right? Let's say on average 10 hours a week, server 2's up, and that's 40 hours per month, and we pay the same price as one that's up every single minute. So during that downtime, can we incorporate something else, right? Comes up to domination, server goes down, domination starts, domination happens, server goes down, strife comes up, something, I don't know. There's got to be something in there that we can fit in. That's kind of a coding thing. So I gotta get that figured out, basically. Yeah,
Yes,
King of the
what
Hill
we
has been brought up. Maybe we run something a little bit better than like the standard King of the Hill where you're driving up and X player kills you from 1,000 meters away, right? We would have control of that to eliminate that gun or that vehicle where you're driving into King of the Hill and some guy in a frickin' Pawnee ejects and rocket launchers you from 600 meters away, right? That kind of stuff that you don't like. So something in there cost wise that we can implement. I'm definitely looking into that. Strife, maybe King of the Hill. I'm not certain, but definitely being looked into.
So I never was really around for Strife. Played it a couple times. So King, do you think? I mean, right? Like, let's be real here. Our biggest current issue is development, and getting new content and getting changes coming in to really kind of spice things up. Do you think Strife, if we put development resources toward it, would bring people to the main server?
I don't know if you guys have access to the old Strife that we had before. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that one, but I know financially something you could do is make skins for some of the vehicles that you obviously wouldn't find on the main server. Make skins for that. I know people donate for that, or if you had like VIP or something on there, or kind of like an Asylum Plus edition for the Strife server. It's not really a whole lot you could develop on there than what it was currently already they had before, because before it was already pretty
I
good.
mean, like selling things money aside, what would bring people from the second server to the main server?
I don't know. I guess the community. It all depends. You'd have to decide on if you would want the economy on Strife to intermix with server one economy.
I have a question about Strife. Everyone seems to have loved it. What happened so that it got pulled? Like, what happened in between people loving it and then it just not existing?
I wasn't around a whole lot back when Strife was there. I
Strife was
think it
broken and
had.
abused. How is it broken and abused?
I
Like,
I
what can
believe
we
think
do to fix
it
it? Because
was.
obviously there was a reason it got
I
removed. I don't
believe
know
it
what
was
it was.
just printing money.
It was too
That
much
was
money. That was the issue. Yes,
okay.
because people would go on there and then you would go to like an ATM and you would claim your money from the Strife server and you would just print millions.
So would it stand on its own if I decoupled its economy, or does it need to be supported by the main server in some way? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know.
I mean, you could. I think it would best to link the economies, but you would have to do some heavy nerfing if you wanted to take money off of Strife to bring it over to server one. Maybe how they did the prestige kind of way, like you withdraw a bunch of money off the Strife server and you only get like a certain percentage of that on the main server.
Someone has said that jets were an issue. I don't. They said jets are an issue. I don't know what that means.
But yeah, we can definitely look into like having a second game mode or a second thing we can run in downtime and domination, whether that be strife or anything else.
I know another thing you could do about getting people to come from Strife over to the main server would be to, I mean, even the simple billboards, like they could work. Like you could just advertise the main server and what you could do on the main server and even domination on that server to get some of the players that would come from Koth, for example, to possibly try out the main server.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but that
Yeah, and
takes
that's the
work
thing,
and
say we only draw 20% or even less, 5% of the new players that join to play Strife over to the main server. You just run an ad like enjoying the server, try out our live server, something like that. It is a way to advertise, so that's really what I'm trying to do to optimize server 2. the amount we pay for it, it's not paying for
No,
itself.
Ski
So
put his
we
hands
gotta
down.
figure that out.
Right, and any percentage, any player you bring over from server 2 to server 1 is beneficial, no matter what number it is, especially considering the current state of the server.
So, and let me ask you this: would you rather have Strife and a Dom server, or maybe currently how you vote for Dom, you vote whether or not today's
If they're not
server is going
listening
to
to
be
half
Strife
of
or
what these
Dom?
people are
Like,
saying
would you rather
anyway, why
this
the fuck would it matter what
alternate or
things
have
they
them
say?
both?
See, you gotta have both of them. I would do the kind of what Rogue said is that there would be when Dom is supposed to be happening, obviously Dom would happen, but in Dom's downtime, have a certain period from, I don't know, just for example, let's say it goes from 4 p.m. Eastern to like 8 p.m. Eastern. It's open for, a decent amount of hours, and then after that it would close again, but I would always be open after like Dom would be. So you wouldn't be putting it onto a separate server to have to pay for another server. Share the same server, just kind of rotate them. So when one's not happening, the other is happening.
Okay. And you got anything else for us, King?
No, that's all.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, appreciate your suggestion. What's going on, Kaleo?
Hey, so I was wondering if you guys can like add maybe someone who could do map designing or something like that. Try to maybe move locations of drug areas here and there, like maybe every 6 months or so. Start moving stuff around, like adding air shops to different areas and stuff like that. I don't know if that's a possibility.
What does this guy
And
say?
also, if you guys can add some type of place that you can buy, like a limited amount of places that you could buy on the map that would have an air shop that you could spawn at for helicopters, like that, maybe. But
So what was that last part? Sorry.
so some type of place that you could spawn at, you could spawn a helicopter or a air vehicle, something like that, like a place of real estate that you can own, and there's only a limited amount on the server.
So that this is for the last part. That pretty
Can
much already exists in terms of gang turfs and gang fortress. If you own your gang's able to capture one of those for that time and restart, you're able to spawn there and spawn a helicopter.
Can I add on to that? So the being able to buy like a hangar, so there are hangars at the airfield, like in other places around the map. It was originally, I think it was by Mitch, like the owner Mitch. He didn't want that
I think
because
he's
there was
talking.
concern that they would spawn at it, immediately pop open a helicopter, and then run off with a vest, right?
Was that how my mic
So
sounded,
that's why
Trigger?
it was shut down. Because I had asked about that months ago. I don't know how Rogue would feel
Oh,
about that now.
dumbass Snoop is in here. Let's see what he's got to say.
Yeah, my main thing was like moving stuff around on the map. I feel like a lot of stuff's been stationary and can be moved to different locations, different real estate. You guys want to try to keep people from not just being super rich by moving real estate, because I know a lot of people make a lot of money off of real estate and stuff like that by just holding houses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you can't really move real estate. As for like rotating drug fields, stuff like that, that's definitely something that's been visited in the past. We had that going for a little bit. At the end of the day, it kind of got reverted. A lot of the players that had good real estate kind of made a fuss about it, right? I mean, if you're just into grinding, you're into running drugs, and you own that prime real estate, now that real estate value, drops a lot, and it's kind of useless when that drug field's not there for that specific restart or whatever. So.
Okay. And lastly, I feel like, I mean, I know Brad's was talking about more admins on Dom, but I feel like there was not one admin on today, and there's probably around 5 or 6 people blatantly cheating. But I know Panda did one like live ban on someone, but there's multiple people just cheating all the time on Dom, which I feel like if you have more admins watching them and people saying that they're cheating in side chat, you probably should be watching them. I don't know.
No, I completely understand. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, well, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right.
The dude sounded like he was talking through like the, as a kid,
All right.
they give you those
Does anyone
paper
else have
cups
anything
with
else they'd like to
string.
kind of talk about or address? What's going on, Sav?
What's up? So
I mean, this is kind of reverting back to the whole player base and player count of the server between Strife and Dom. And I'm really glad that you mentioned a lot of the resources that you're trying to pour into, um, from what Rogue said, is into development. Obviously, Asylum comes first, in my opinion. That's where a majority of the player base is. Um, and I don't want to say that I feel like having your guys' resources stretched too thin between Strife and Dom. But I feel like Asylum definitely needs to come first. And I feel like pushing more updates out there is definitely the key to it. And obviously, if you pay developer, there's more of a strive to have them develop more stuff. So back to the player base section, as far as like newer players joining in, uh, I think a majority of the newer players that come in is based off of the server count. Obviously, if you see a server with 30 players or 40 players, the odds of a newer player coming in to check out that server is not as great as someone that, or a server that has 85 or 90 players playing in it currently. Um, I mean, just within the last 30 days, there was what, 12,000 concurrent players within Arma, and it's a very old game. And obviously, there's newer and better games to play than Arma. So for newer players, one thing that we could work around possibly with this whole green zone thing is, instead of just cluttering the map with circles and just having to script all of that from the start, maybe using a lot of the towns that have no meaning to them. Um, I mean, specifically like Penichori, which is on the lower southern part next to Kavala, or even Akali, just adding maybe like a peach farm or an apple farm or something along that nature that can help players. And it'll also help with the housing issue as of right
Okay,
now until we
so
can come
I'm a
up
poor
with a
little
better
bitch.
solution for that. But maybe having newer players move into those towns to start off and doing something legal, might be beneficial for the server and developers at the same time. So that way they're not having to come up with something quick for the real estate factor. Um, but what's your guys' opinion on that?
As I mean, it's already been brought up a couple times, the green zones. I know there's currently a suggestion on the forums. I haven't gone through it too much. It's definitely something we would be, like Rogue said, right? Anything at this point, we're definitely willing to look into and discuss. It's just that would take a lot of, that would take development, that would take a lot of rule changes, that would take, it would take a decent amount of work, and we're all welcome to do it as long as it's kind of fleshed out and the pros and the cons are both kind of listed there. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I had.
all right, sounds good.
I feel like this is like executives.
What's going on,
Like,
Red
Oh
Dip?
hey. Oh hey, sorry, I don't usually talk on these things, but and I know y'all are tired of hearing this stupid safe zones, but I've been following that for a good long time now, and I just wanted to put my input on it
it's the
because
executives trying to make the
I
shareholders
don't
happy or
think
some shit.
you guys want to, and I don't think the server needs to add a whole bunch of new assets to support somebody else. I mean, especially when it has the possibility of everybody else abusing that aspect as well. Is I've seen it around in other servers. Is there a way you can maybe just, to avoid most of the development altogether, just add a grace period for new players, whether it's time based or hourly based, and 7 days of, or up to 20 hours of gameplay, they don't drop their money if they die, or their vehicles go back in the garage if they get blown up, stuff like that. Maybe that can be something that works. Seems more easily managed than adding in new assets, because then you wouldn't have to do a whole bunch of rule changes or anything.
I think the not dropping money could potentially be a good thing for brand new players.
Yeah, maybe until they reach
Uh,
like their first 20 hours of gameplay, or have it go by time, like first week of joining the server.
something, yeah, something along those lines, as well as like a initial starter increase. I do think 10K they log on once, they go do one thing, get robbed, or cops stop them, and then they're like, well, I'm done. Fuck this. So they're out.
But yeah, thank you guys for everything you do. But that's really all I've ever thought of saying so far. I've just kind of been sitting here listening the whole time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Repto.
And following up on the new player experiencing, and I don't really want to name the server, but one of the things Olympus does with their new players is they don't necessarily get any benefits of not dropping and they still be killed, but they get like a shield over their head and it lets them know that they're in the tutorial phase. And if you take that like a step further to where they basically can't be killed doing legal activities for just say like 10 to 20 hours, and then if they were to step foot in like an illegal area, they would get a prompt that said, hey, you're going to lose your newbie status, so forth. So if you take part in these things, so it can't necessarily be exploited outside of legal activities, and then you don't discourage other players because they have a shield over their head that lets them know that like, hey, these are tutorial players, so like I'm not going to get anything out of them if I mess with them.
I'll still rob them.
Yeah, so this is one of the things we're already like internally discussing, like always like already during this meeting after hearing so many green area, green zone, safe zone requests that we really do kind of want a safe zone. Well, not a safe zone, but like a safety net for newer players.
Some kind of grace
And I,
period for them to get
yeah,
the
and I
feel
think
for it.
a grace period or some other way would be a good addition to the server. So we're already talking about like what that could mean.
And I mentioned in chat like one of the differences between so Asylum was my first, and I never wanted to leave it. When I went over there, they have just a couple more things that are more practical. Like right now, a lot of these big events that happen, they're kind of dominated by the bigger gangs and stuff like that. They have like Olympus. One of the things they have is a nuke that goes off 4 times every server reset, right? And you don't know where it's going to be or when it's going to pop up, but it randomly pops up. You gather uranium, and it's kind of free for all on that. You just they have like things like that. So there's a content. I think there's a little bit of a content difference. It's kind of a little bit of a difference maker with attracting people. When I went over there personally, I was like, wow, this is a lot. So I think, like you guys said, following up on like just the content and getting some of those well thought out ideas broken down for development. As somebody who's a player and has scripting experience in the game, and I've worked on other servers before, like I agree, it's hard to be the developer and the content creator. You just when you want to develop something, you need something
Put
laid
them
out for you
nails
to
back
just
up, Queen.
kind of go to work on. The problem is, I guess, balancing how all these things tie into the economy, but there's some ridiculously rich people in the game, so I don't know how to balance the economy for the average player, somebody getting started out versus that, which leans into the wipe idea, but that pisses people off too.
All right. Yeah, like you said, like Mitch said as well. Definitely some sort of safety net for new players is definitely something we want to look into. Like it is an old game, right? We don't get as many new players as we would like, so we definitely don't want them leaving because they're getting fucked over early on. So
But I just one of the points is I think some of these randomly spawning events, I think there's like an airdrop and there's all these things that happen, but they're dominated by like specific groups. So I think some like more less combative random events that people can partake in that are not necessarily going to be just locked down by the large gangs, and they happen random, so they're not planned. But I think some of it is just like heavy arms and stuff like that, and we know who's going to win those most of the time.
all right, yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely talk a little bit more about that after this kind of the meeting is over. We'll touch base on that, and we'll try to figure out something that works better for the entire community as a
It's
whole.
up,
So
sugar.
yeah, we definitely
I
appreciate
appreciate
that.
the opportunity to talk. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, we appreciate your suggestions. So. Good afternoon, Half Drum.
Hello, everyone. So I think one of the other things that are super frustrating when it comes to new players is, a lot of them don't understand what it takes to have to put in a report. So obviously, like the first couple times that they die, they won't even have like a recording because they didn't know they had to record. So I think to help with that, having more active admins and mods would be really helpful. like Ski Man Cole was around a lot, and he was very active when it came to banning people before you had to go and put a report in. So I think that'd be really helpful.
I 100% agree. Active admins are definitely something the community needs. As for newer players, right? You're right. There are players that don't really understand they need recordings and stuff like that. And the entire admin team, we all try to be very understanding of new players, right? I mean, if you're a new player, you submit an RDM report. We try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Instruct them, hey, this is what you need for your future reports, so that way that can get taken care of. If you need any help setting up video software, cool, let us know, and we'll usually give comp for the first time or two, regardless of evidence, for these new players, just to make sure they're not getting fucked over, and to kind of throw them a bone and make sure that we care about you. We want you guys to stick around, and we understand that sometimes shit happens and you weren't aware of our recording and reporting requirements. So
cool. All right, that sounds good. Just branching off of that, is there anything you want to share about why Ski Man Cole was force retired, or like what got looked into for it at all, or?
So I mean, we're not really going to go into specifics too much. We don't really want to, air out everyone's dirty laundry in front of the entire community. But I can assure you, it wasn't because anyone wasn't liked. Personally, I like Ski. I enjoyed playing with him. I enjoyed talking with the guy. So there was nothing personal about it. It was just a matter of there was absolutely a decent amount of evidence that went into it. Same with all our scripting bans or other removals. We take that kind of stuff very seriously. And there was a decent amount of stuff there. So, unfortunately, he was very active, but
Okay, all right, that's all I got.
and I'm not sure if Rogue wants to step or touch on that a little bit more as well.
I mean, no admin is just gonna be removed for nothing. Half drunk. It's not like we're just gonna be like, guy's out of here, right? Senior admins are in place for a reason. They're trusted. If they decide, hey, this guy's no longer fit to be an admin in this community, I'm not gonna just be like, oh no, my personal, I like this guy, so we're gonna keep him around, right? If you start kind of showing weird favor like that through the community, then it's just another evil. So somebody coming in thinking that, oh, we just removed this guy because, right? That's not the case. There's evidence. They decided to remove him. That's what it is. We're not just, like I said, just gonna be like, oh, he's gone. We don't like him. So now, is the committee going to be privy to all the evidence? No. Like Glue said, we're not airing out dirty laundry.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Uptrend. All right. Now, so this has been going on for about an hour and 50 minutes now, so we'll probably take a few more people here before we wrap this up, but we'll probably start trying to wrap this up. All right, Mr. Gravity. How's it going, buddy?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Holy shit, I'm nervous. All right, yo, I had a couple things to say to Rogue. He was saying that he wanted to put money back into the community, right? I had a couple ideas how you can do that, right? Me myself, I don't know if you check your DMs, but I sent you something there. What I would start off with is literally the staff pay them off, like have a wage for them, right? So let's say you keep like 80% to donations and give 20% to the staff, like they have something to work, even though it's not gonna be a lot at the end of the month, right? But it could be what, 20, 30 bucks, whatever, right? It's something for them to look for and to actually put more work into the game, right? Because remember, they're the ones, developers, right? They're the ones who actually make the server, but admins are the ones that run it, right? So if you did that, I feel like the server would go in further, right?
So I can safely say that, I mean, as Rogue said, he touched on this earlier. Definitely trying to give the developers a little bit more incentive to develop, right?
Yeah,
At
that's
the
what
end
I'm
of the
saying,
day,
right?
I mean, as an admin, I never expected money for it. I don't want money for it.
It's not something you look for. It's
Uh,
something you
yeah,
receive for your hard
absolutely. And
work, right?
occasionally, we did things where the most active or whatever got a little reward, but for the most part, I can probably speak for a lot of admins as we would rather that money go towards our developers and making sure this server is thriving. Most of us
I
care more about that
That
than
was just
It's
an
only
idea,
because of a
right? You
match
can
much.
even
too.
do like
It's literally only because of a
10%
match.
for the admins and like 15% to the developers, something like that, right? Like 20,
Because
30 bucks at the end of the month, a
I mean, the admins
pizza.
put in a decent amount of work, but the devs work a lot harder. Their job is, a lot more kind of stressful, and especially when it comes down to, especially their patch notes. Luckily, this recent one was good, which did a great job, and the community was very positive on that. In the past, sometimes those patch notes aren't as positive. You have a lot of the community managers kind of shitting on their work, unfortunately. So, definitely, I think that
And not every
they would
Mitch, not
definitely
the old
deserve
owner,
a little bit of
the dev.
compensation for their work
This
because
guy.
their work is what makes everything go round, right? I mean, you can
That's what
find
I'm
new
saying.
admins. I don't want to say anyone's replaceable because everyone here is here for a reason, but it's a lot harder to find people that know how to develop for Arma and that are very good at it.
Another thing too is admins. I see a lot of admins that are inactive, right? He's like, I'm gonna say his name. He's a great friend of mine. Love the guy, but he's just not active anymore. And I still see him that he's an admin. Yusheng, right? Like you remove other admins for
Whoa.
literally like I don't know what your reasons are. I don't want to get into that, but you remove admins, great admins that I play with, and literally since the day I met him, they're actually like pretty cool, chill. I never see them use their admin powers or whatever, right? But there's admins here that literally don't ever play the game and they're still admins, right? I think a good way to actually avoid that would be to put a requirement on the admins, right? I mean, you're admin for a reason because you actually got into the server and started playing, right? You got to know everybody in the like upper ranks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So currently
it would be
there are
like let's
requirements
say
for
10
admins. So
hours minimum or something, right? Some type of requirement so you can actually be active in game and like see what's going
absolutely.
on.
So there are currently requirements for admins. Most of the admins, it's more of a ticket requirement. We have admins that are specifically involved in checking through our logs, and they have their requirements there. Kind of as for Yusheng, he's not holding a spot that anybody else would be in. He's more or less here. At the end of the day, we have a decent Chinese population that play on Asylum, and unfortunately, none of us speak Chinese. So there's a lot of language barrier there
Wow,
that Yusheng is able to kind of help
Yusheng
alleviate.
literally got his rank
Even though
just
he
because
might
he's
not be
Chinese.
super active playing, he's definitely a good resource for the team to be able to take care of that decent chunk of the community that has a very hard time communicating with the rest of the staff. So everyone here serves a purpose. He's not holding a spot that somebody else would be in, for a more active admin doing the rest of the stuff. It's just that he definitely is a benefit.
Yeah. I can speak on that too. Yusheng could play 0 hours this entire year and do 0 tickets, and he'll still be an admin. It is just that language barrier he's being kept for. Like, just being open and honest about it. So,
Ready, Ma?
Yusheng will be here until he would like to leave or he does something stupid, right? So, I mean, if you want to learn another language, you can get brought up, through the ranks just like everyone else. That it's just like any job you go into in real life, right? You speak another language, you're automatically better than the person next. So
Yeah, I know 3 languages, bro. But either way, that's not the point. That's all I had to say. I love Yusheng. I've known him for years. I just I used him as an example, right? Because I know he would text me and then you just call me some words and shit. But he's pretty cool. I love the guy.
Yes.
And
I mean, at the end of the day,
last
like I
thing,
said,
Bro,
he's not holding anyone else out of a position that would be held for anyone else. He's pretty much just kept on reserve. So that's not affecting really anything else. It's just that he is a good benefit to have.
um, last thing, just Rogue, check your messages and that's it, dude. Your DM, I DM'd you a while
let me
ago.
guess, you want to buy the server,
Yeah.
you and everyone else.
Well, everybody else just talks. I actually have the money for it. If you were willing to sell it, right? That's why I text you. If I don't know when you're going to sell it or whatever, right? But consider me. Um, this is like one of my goals, right? I've been playing literally for 2014, I believe, right? And I'm actually in a I'm financially stable now, where I can put like Asylum as one of my projects in my life that I can work on to, and I have the time for it, right? But if you do, just consider me.
everyone
All
else
right.
besides
All right,
Yusheng.
thank you,
So
Gravity. All right, so I guess we'll probably start to wrap this up. We'll probably get a couple more people in here, and then we'll close it. What's going on, Bush Tiger?
Oh, Bush Tiger's back. This is always good.
Mr. Bush Tiger.
Oh, I forgot I got pushed to talk. Back in April of last year, you guys, reset all the quests. It was, I think, heavily implied that there would be more added, but I think there's been 2 added since that happened, almost a year ago. I just wanted to see if you guys have plans on adding more.
Well, I would love to add more. Just need more ideas, man. I'm really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, what
lot of
about
people are,
the
Sugar.
200 of them that were wiped? I'm not asking you to,
I went
shit out
through.
a copy of them, but
I mean, we were. So I don't know exactly which ones are missing, but we did go through every existing quest, and basically, like Mitch, the owner, and I went through them all, and he tossed the ones he didn't want anymore. So, like that obviously can be revisited now.
so as of right now, though, you don't really have plans.
No, we could go back through the list and see what was removed and add them back, obviously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bush
Maybe I
Tiger.
can't afford it, Sugar. Maybe I'm a.
Okay, sorry I'm a poor little bitch.
So, DJ.
Hello. Hey. Well, first of all, I want to thank Rogue here and all you guys. Everybody does work, so I'm very thankful for that. I was just wondering, is there anything being done on the server to address like the matter baby issue?
What? Sorry, could you repeat the question?
The matter baby issue on the server, is anything being addressed to, like, done to address it?
Very
I'll
funny.
let Rogue handle this one.
Do you have like an actual question or to address?
That's a question.
Why don't you address it? What do you think should be done about that?
See, I don't have an answer, so I came to the great and powerful wizards here, you know? Okay, never mind. Anyways, I do have a genuine question. Looking at the future of domination, right? I know we've touched upon this subject a lot, and it seemed like I'm just kind of wondering, since I know that Slick put a lot of work into that originally back in the day into domination. Is there like a roadmap for that, or is it just gonna stay how it is now? I just don't see how it really is beneficial for the server to have domination. I'm gonna be honest.
Gotcha. So, what would you like to see change? What do you think should be done with the domination server? It's not currently being.
I mean, I'm more for having events on the main server that'll bring like a population to the server, right? And I feel like when Dom happens, like a large population of the Dom players are like they just play Dom, you know? I'd love to see that same pop on the main server, you know?
You didn't answer the question.
I mean, yeah. So, what would you change about the Dom server to bring them over to the main?
What would I change? See, this is something I'm just kind of sparking a little spark here, okay? Just bringing it forward. So that way we can get these talks rolling. This is the first meeting of what I assume probably, this is the beginning of talks. So if we can get just something out there, right? Maybe if somebody draws a plan, then we can all chip in, right? So I can definitely, draft up some plans and get some stuff going. Maybe you guys could look at it. But let me this. I'll peruse through my large catalog of civilian friends who happen to play on the domination and see what they would like, and then I will make a formal recommendation. Is that better?
That would be great. Thank you, DJ.
Okay. Just making
Did
sure.
you, man?
Do you
Thanks,
have anything
DJ.
else for us?
Yeah, no problem. No, that's about it. Besides that, shout out to my homies. Got banana mags for all y'all. Have a good day.
Hello?
Welcome back, Paul.
All right. Before we close up here, I just had a genuine question. This is a little bit out of the server. Akula, as a Canadian,
What?
now, do you listen to Imagine Dragons a lot?
I'm not Canadian.
That wasn't even a good one. Come on.
What's going on? Acceptable?
I just have like one suggestion. It's like not much, pretty quick. I was thinking we should add fentanyl to the server. That was like my one suggestion. I don't know how you would incorporate it into the server, but I think it's definitely something that you could mess around with heroin, and definitely something that you could look into. I don't know, but that's about all I got.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, we just finished adding a new drug last week, so we can definitely visit adding more in the future. But at the end of the day, we don't want to add a ton and just kind of have a vomit all over the map of different places to go to. Because at the end of the day, especially with our population, we'd like to kind of condense more people and get
Yeah,
more
they kicked him
interaction
out
on the
for
server
the
and
Imagine
not just add a
Dragons
bunch
thing.
more
Right,
that people
right.
can spread out. So new drugs are always something we can talk about, but other things might at this point have to be removed to kind of fit those in, which change is cool. But
Yeah, for sure.
all right, anything else for us?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see what else we got. We'll get a couple more people in here. What's going on, Snoop?
How you doing, boys? I got a quick little idea for another event.
This is
As
horrible.
the
This is gonna
capture
be
point,
horrible.
there's nothing for really cops and stuff like that. Maybe add another event where cops have the opportunity to go fight for it, maybe a town or something like that. If the cops get control of it, then anybody with a 6.5 weapon and above can be KOS by cops, either down either lethal. If rebels, other gangs capture it, then any cops that would enter the area would also be KOS by anybody that holds the area currently. Like the gang that captured it, they would hold the area. They would be able to KOS the cops if they came up. The rewards would depend on admins like yourselves, on for the people that would capture it. If that makes sense. Little idea.
Okay, so some sort of capture event that's a little more APD focused.
Yes.
Okay, so kind of like, I don't know, like a cop turf or something like that.
Yeah, something like that to a certain degree.
Okay. I mean, something we could look into. I think
Appreciate it.
as of right now, I mean, they'll definitely have to speak to the captains about that. There's already a lot of Fed events going on, and we definitely want cops out patrolling. So I'm not too sure if we want to add, and even cops want something added, they also have to go do and fight for. But it's definitely something we could visit.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Snoop. All right. Anybody else to kind of finish this up here? All right. Wait, Savage again. I'll get Savage and Kaleo. What's going on, Savage?
Hey, thank you for picking me as I can speak 3 different languages.
On a serious note, though, I think a good event would be including the mayor, or the governor. I mean, maybe making it to where
Hold on, Sugar, because I'm
cops have to
putting this in the
protect the
Discord
governor,
after this is over.
and he has to
Let me just
drive to a certain
make
city
sure that Snoop
to
sees this.
make a whole speech about what he's going to be doing as the governor and so forth. Maybe do it as an event where, as soon as the governor gets picked, he has to go out to a specific city like Athera, and cops are tasked to defend the governor, to make sure he doesn't get assassinated. I think that would be a pretty cool event.
Okay. I think that's definitely something that could be handled more just on the admin side, not necessarily hiring development work. So that's definitely something that just an admin could go host. And definitely sounds like an interesting idea. So
yeah.
I already have Secret Service and shit.
But on a side
Savage
note,
is stealing
though,
my fucking idea.
I am financially stable to be able to buy the server. So I'll
Thank
send
you,
you
Savage.
him about it.
You're gonna have to outbid that other guy. I don't remember his name.
All right. Yeah, we go on Savage. All right.
Do we have anyone else that is not, they're not looking to bring up an idea, they just have a genuine question with the ideas? Just going forward, flesh them out, put them in the forums, and we'll really try to look through them and select and put in good fleshed out ideas. Obviously, we'll get Potato working a couple more hours. He's not working enough in the week, so.
All right. Yeah, so it looks like Kaleo will get you in here, and you might be the last one. So what's going on, buddy?
I have one quick question. Are you guys gonna be moving the new capture event around to different capture points, or is it gonna stay on the tower? Because I realize it's only on drug tower.
No, it does cycle.
Are you sure?
The capture event, it's like church, drug tower, the little church cap, where house cap, where the little north from house cap, on the drug peninsula. It cycles a little bit. It's just random every time.
Have you seen it cycle, Panda?
Yes, I
Okay,
fought
cool.
church cap. I fought the
I think yeah.
church
I
on
just
drug
want to check because
peninsula and tower cap.
I'm in the same boat as Khalil. I've only ever seen it tower, so I think it's just luck of the draw is when you're on. So, yeah, apparently it is. So, all right.
Thanks.
Yeah, anything else, Khalil?
No, that was just it.
All right. Well, we're about 2 hours into this now. So if anyone else has anything they'd really like to get addressed here before we wrap up, or something like that, cool. If not, we'll probably just kind of end this here. And if you guys have any other suggestions, we'd love to hear them. Please get them all posted on the forums.
Yeah, just anything that you guys wanted to say at any point, just post it on the forums. Chat, if you guys watching have anything, just post it on the forums, because you might as well just not bring it up, actually. The post on the forums is going to go to
All
the
right, I
trash
guess we'll
can on their
get this one guy in
desktop.
here. He said, all right, I don't know what's going on with that guy. We'll get, actually, I think he just left. So, all right. So, Mr. Crater, do you actually have something you'd like to speak? I'm seeing your kind of hand go up a few times and going away. All right.
All of them
That
are
looks
going to
like
see
that's a
this.
no.
I'm
So,
recording it to
we really
literally post
appreciate
it
all
in
you
the
guys coming out
Discord.
today. We appreciate all the feedback and all the questions and suggestions. We love to hear them. If you guys have anything else that wasn't really addressed here, or there's stuff you kind of want to flush out a little bit more, please, get those development suggestions in on the forums. That way, everybody can take a look. Everyone can kind of work it and figure out, pros and cons and work through it. Anything past that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up today. So, appreciate everyone showing up.